I'm Clare, and this is my mate Anna. 10 years ago, Anna and I drove a Ford Fiesta 10,000 kilometres from the UK to West Africa. We'd bought it off eBay for less than £250. We had no service history and almost no mechanical know-how. The West Africa we saw is a different one now, and today's politics would make this trip a challenge to repeat. Our breakdowns were outnumbered only by adventures, and we got way more mileage from our car than we'd ever hoped for. 10 years later, this is our story. In our last episode, we'd just spent 5 days driving 350 kilometres off-road across the Sahara Desert. We'd just arrived in Nouakchott, where playing bumper cars had gone from being a novelty to a survival technique. Having found a bed and breakfast, it was time to seek out Nouakchott's scrapyards.
Where are we going?
We're going to find something to fix this. Our magical secure bolt.
The evil nuts.
To get 4 new tyres because we put 7 or so punctures in ours.
Yeah, that's the tyres we need.
That's size de la tyre.
Tom and Duncan also had a whole clutch and gearbox to fix. We'd resigned ourselves to getting over-acquainted with Nouakchott and African time in general as our repairs got underway.
We made it to the scrapyard, and that's my future car.
The purple one.
Yeah.
We settled for tyres an inch too big so we could get back on the road faster, a decision that would complicate our lives later on in Mali.
There's many goats in this car.
The Isuzu was going to need a lot more time and love, however, and it was anyone's guess if it could make it to Bamako in Mali, where the boys planned to leave it behind for good.
After a long day of playing with my car's gearbox, which is now on the floor, we get in the car and I find this.
Yes. How did you find it?
I sat on it. And then we found this one as well.
Never stuck for ways to entertain ourselves, we spent long hours lounging on rooftops while Tom and Duncan decided to learn how to dress local. They then also revealed that Sidi had sent them out of the desert with a little parting gift.
Hi.
What is that?
This is desert smack. I'm gonna brew it up because the rum is gone. Actually, it wasn't rum, it was whiskey.
As Mauritania was a dry country, booze was in short supply, so the boys had found a bootlegger whose definition of whiskey differed somewhat from theirs.
That's expensive whiskey.
€70 whiskey.
How was that?
A waste of €70, really. Same cost as our clutch.
Their only alternative now was tea.
What are you going to do, Dunks?
Yes, Duncan. How exactly did you find out about this stuff?
It was Sidi, the guide, the desert guide. He said, for this one, there is a desert plant, like hashish.
And he said, 1 leaf.
1 leaf.
So Dunks got a bag. And that was 1 leaf?
No, that was half a leaf, I think.
What's going in the pot?
Despite the local tea providing lofty sugar highs, for the boys this clearly wasn't enough. So, Sidi had provided this desert plant as an alternative tea leaf, explaining it had a tranquility-inducing effect like hashish. Sidi provided instructions to dry the leaves before brewing, but as the boys were already bored in Nouakchott, they decided to ignore that step and dive right in. Not knowing what the leaves actually were, they'd nicknamed it desert smack while assuming it must be harmless. After all, it was just a plant, right?
It smells like egg. What's done with it?
I'd like to tell you it got wild, unruly, and life-changing from there, but, well, maybe judge for yourself.
Where's Tom?
It would take until lunchtime the next day to properly assess their little experiment.
Alright, what's going on?
We did some researching on the internet about desert crack.
What's the real name?
Stra something, some kind of weed that's got hallucinogenic properties, but is completely poisonous unless dried out before use.
And Duncan, you've been feeling great today, yeah?
Been better. What are the side effects? Deterioration of the sight is the main one.
And
And the indication that you've ingested too much is a dry throat and mouth. Possible side effects include amnesia and photosensitivity.
So we dry it out next time.
Or maybe just don't go cooking up every little plant that we find in the desert that some guy who doesn't share a common language as us has told us will get dudes with dreadlocks off their faces.
Could be worse.
It could have definitely been worse.
has it been better
Apparently
then?
it's
Like, is
resulted in
it
deaths.
getting better?
Yeah.
You can't focus.
I'm not focusing on anything. Dilated pupils and stuff.
With that little experiment finally out of the way, it was time to hit Nouakchott's beaches and explore a little further afield.
Trying to get boards into Fiesta. Claire, how are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where are we?
In a smelly fish market in Mauritania.
Still in Nouakchott.
Yep.
It's a bit of a special day today. Hey.
It's his birthday!
And to celebrate, we were looking for a feast of fish to mark the occasion.
Hectic. We're here, we're quite late. Here they are. That's where the fish boats comes in. The beach. See all the fishing boats out there.
Cut of fish. Not much else. This guy's the chief descaler.
As the boys spoke the best French amongst us, it was up to them to negotiate for the goods.
That's how you deal with fish markets.
We have some fish.
What is it?
We have 4 soles and a bream.
With the fish bagged up, it was back to trawling the streets of Nouakchott while the Isuzu's fate and gearbox still hung in the balance. We had told Tom and Duncan that we would wait for their car's clutch to be repaired before continuing the drive, since 2 cars were better than 1 in case of any breakdowns on the road. Getting the Isuzu properly fixed by street-side mechanics who spoke mostly Arabic, with a little French thrown in, was turning out to be complicated and time-intensive. Our original plan had been to drive from Nouakchott through Senegal to the Gambia and from there across to Bamako in Mali. The biggest problem with this plan was that we would have to pay large bribes to get our car into Senegal illegally, as we didn't have a carnet de passage, otherwise known as a car passport, required for cars as old as ours. Our other option was to drive east along the Route d'Espoir to Ayoun-a-la-Trousse and south from there towards Bamako in Mali. This route was unpopular due to claims it was Al-Qaeda territory and that we would have to pass through Aleg, where a French family had been murdered by the roadside 3 years prior. Whether the threat was real or not, it had prompted the Dakar rally to relocate to South America 2 years prior, and also meant we could expect an absurd amount of gendarme checkpoints where the military police were known to expect bribes. Either way, we'd lost count of our days in Nouakchott by now, so Tom would spend a day looking over his mechanic's shoulder while the rest of us tried to find a new market to wander around in town.
Is that another amazing hairdresser? It is.
Une bonne coiffeur.
Un bon coiffeur. Oh, nice. Oh, maybe they can style your mo as well.
We were looking for the artisan market, where tie-dyed fabrics, traditional clothing, and Tuareg handicrafts were sold. We'd parked the car and asked a passing stranger if we were in the right place, only for him to insist we get in his car so he could show us where it was.
What's going on?
They're getting lost by this guy, he's called Ahmed. So now in deepest, darkest Nouakchott. No fucking idea where we are.
Who's
The
that?
car's near the Pont de Madrid. No fucking idea where that is. And we're in another traffic jam. Africa.
On a road made of sand. Africa, Africa!
He's really happy. He's very happy.
On va partir à la brosse.
Oui.
Oh, c'est un ancien Mauritania. فتي برانا. موريتانيا القديمة الجمال و.
Because we're warm, we're sweaty.
C'est très
You wanna
belle femme. Oui, ton femme, bien, bien. Les deux.
Ma soeur et son ami.
Son ami. Sa sœur.
Oui.
Sa sœur.
Ici,
Mariée.
ma soeur.
Ma sœur. Sa sœur.
The fact that only Duncan spoke any French, combined with our new friend Ahmed's enthusiasm for having us in the car, made us start to wonder if we were actually heading for the market at all.
Right, we're rolling. Nice.
I'm loving this. Is that wrong of me?
This car is fucked.
No.
The clutch is
Chauffeur.
not what it should be.
Chauffeur, d'accord, d'accord.
À la mer, oui.
Yeah, Almari.
À la mer.
We'd been doing laps of Nouakchott for a while now, with Ahmed chatting away at the wheel. We somehow overcame our now painfully obvious language barrier and convinced him to drop us back at the car, ending our little tour of town.
Taking a bit of a detour to find the granny. Lots of Swedish taxis. They're everywhere.
Swedish taxi.
Wait, here's where
Here we go. Listen to that rev.
Problem mechanic.
Oui.
Yeah, bit of a problem with the mechanics.
Amazingly, this was a reference to his own car rather than ours, as he'd been riding the clutch and revving like mad while trying to prevent the car from stalling throughout the drive.
So he just pointed out the market we were looking for in the first place, and it's right here.
50 metres down
50 metres away from where we parked, but he picked us up and drove us through
It
the
was the
whole
word
city.
artisan confused him.
There she is.
E1, E2, yes.
Do you see?
Yes.
Oh, hello Granny, we missed you. Please get out of the car.
Merci.
Finally reunited with our wheels, it was time to feed our worsening baguette obsession.
Where are we? We smelt, we're in the crossroad, we got Granny back, we're in a crossroad and we smelt some fresh bread, so Duncan's getting baguettes. And we're parked behind a donkey with some oil barrels on the back. There's people across the street, no one here likes video cameras very much. Here comes Dunks with bread.
Oh, Duncan.
Go, we go.
Whoa! Was that a crash? Uh-oh.
Whoa, stop.
Rules of the road. If the car is more beaten up than yours, do not try anything because they will probably just crash into you.
From playing full-time bumper cars to the noises spewing out of passing cars, we were wondering what definition of mechanically sound the Isuzu might fit when we left Nouakchott the next day.
Sounds like it's thrown a rod or something. Yeah.
And though we had left the artisan market empty-handed, Anna had organised a sneaky souvenir to remind us of Nouakchott before we drove out of town for good.
Open your eyes.
What? What's this for? I'm gonna open this and find like a box full of camel food.
No.
I know what it is. It's the mosque alarm clock, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe. Just press it. Haven't started. Yeah, there are no. There's a bird. It was making noise in the box when I got it. I wrapped it and it was still singing. Because he made me listen to it like 10 times before I could get it. And that made me laugh. Maybe you just have to set the alarm. How good is it, Claire?
We now had a new hood ornament for our drive out of Dodge, and we'll take the road east against Western government advice next episode.
Hi, present day Claire here. New episodes will be uploaded every Sunday, so hit subscribe if you'd like to be notified when it's time to watch. Thanks and see you next time.